everyone. Welcome to Lunch and Learn Live. It is Monday, and I'm so excited to have you here with us. When you jump on, go ahead, give us a shout out in the comments. Say hello. It is Dr. D solo today, but I'm glad to have you all with me, especially as we have a really important thing to talk about today. We are going to talk about glowing from the inside out and how we can actually use detoxification secrets for radiant skin. So how many of you are concerned about skin health? I'll tell you, oh my goodness, I have had the last couple of weeks have actually been quite an adventure for me. So I must have, I don't know if I dropped my meditation eye mask on the floor or something, but one night I actually fell asleep with it on my eyes, and I woke up the next morning and all of this around here was swollen and inflamed and all of that. And I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? It was clearly a contact dermatitis. Contact dermatitis meaning like something comes in contact with your skin that your body doesn't like and it has a reaction to. And so I was like, puff the magic dragon on my face and lots of redness all the way around, and it was awful. And I just kept being like, what am I doing to kind of solve this? And you guys, things like that, they happen, right? It's not like the skin was a disaster everywhere. It was just from this specific item. But it leads us to understand a couple different things. Number one, our body can be reactive to different things. And I think there was probably something that got on my face mask because it was clearly the same area. And this is just like a cloth mask that I put on to just block out any light while I'm doing my meditation, not like a chemical mask of any sort, because I don't use any of those. But I'll tell you, one of the best things that helped it was just pure honey. So I just applied honey to those different areas, and that was really helpful. Castor oil was another thing that I used on the area that was really helpful. And I did come across a great homeopathic ointment that was made with lanolin called Pure Remedy. So I highly recommend that one as well, because it was really helpful for me. But our skin makes a difference. I know for that time, like I was embarrassed to get on camera. I was embarrassed to be in front of people because, hey, I'm supposed to like be in this health space, and here I am with puffy swollen eyes from a reaction to something. But it happens, you guys. Not all skin stuff though is a topical reaction. A lot of times if there's stuff that's going on internally, especially within the GI system, we can end up with different rashes or things like that throughout our body. And so that's something that we want to be aware of and on the lookout for on a regular basis. So your skin is your body's largest organ. And guess what? It's also your biggest detox organ. So if your gut, your liver, your lymphatic system, if they're not working at their optimal, well, guess what? Your skin is going to actually pick up the slack. And that means breakouts, dullness, eczema, even premature aging. And the truth is, the beauty industry wants you to think that, the answer to the problem is in a bottle, some sort of bottle or magic potion or whatever. But if you don't fix what's going on in the inside, there's no amount of moisturizer on the outside that's actually going to make a difference. So I remember I had a client, Jenna, who came into me. She was desperate. She had spent like thousands of dollars on skincare and facials and dermatologists, and nothing worked. But within a month of just focusing on detoxification, hydration, her gut and healing her gut, her skin actually started to clear up. And it wasn't like from some new expensive $100 a bottle serum, but it was actually just from detoxifying her body. And this, guys, is so important for you to understand, because detox matters for your skin. Your skin, first of all, it reflects your internal health. So acne, dull skin, premature aging, like the lines, all of that, they're all signs of aging that really are a signal of toxicity. Again, I always say things are not just a part of aging. Aging just means we've had additional time to accumulate toxicity, something to really think about and consider. But our body detoxes daily, right? Our liver, our kidneys, our gut, our lymphatic system, our skin. And when our detox pathways become overburdened, they show up as skin inflammation, right? As congestion, as puffiness, as premature wrinkles, So when we have what's called oxidative stress, okay? Oxidative stress, the stress from the toxicity, that can accelerate the aging skin. When we've got chronic inflammation from issues with our gut dysbiosis, right? Imbalanced gut, that can be linked to things like acne or eczema. So those are all things that we have to pay attention to. And give us a hello in the chat box. Let us know what your major skin issues are and how they're impacting you, so we can make sure on today's Lunch and Learn we are still addressing your questions and your concerns. Okay, you guys, let's talk about how the body detoxes and why your skin actually reacts. So, detoxification, it isn't like a one-stop shop. It's something that is ongoing. It's a sophisticated process, or I should say processes, that your body does every single day. And the truth is, our modern life, it really overloads our body with toxins. And so we've got to think about, okay, so what are some of those major detox pathways? We've got the liver, we've got the gut, we've got the lymphatic system, and we've got the skin. Okay, so let's walk through those. Our liver, number one, it is the master detoxifier of the body. Our liver, poor liver, it takes the brunt of everything. We should be so thankful to say, I love you, liver. Thank you for doing your job. But when we're, our liver, it's responsible for detoxification. What it does is it takes toxins themselves and it turns them into water-soluble compounds that are designed for our body to eliminate. So if our liver is actually overburdened, right, then we end up with sluggish detox, which then leads us to skin inflammation. So you want to think about how can you best support your liver, for detoxification. Things like turmeric, okay, cruciferous vegetables. I love my dandelion tea. So if you haven't tried dandelion tea has like it's got like an earthy kind of taste. So it's almost like a regular kind of caffeinated tea taste, a little bit gentler, but still like woodsy kind of flavor. For those of you who don't like fruity, florally kind of flavors, dandelion tea is amazing. It is my personal favorite. So that's one. Another big one is beets. So get some beets into your diet as well. Always, hydration. We've talked about that a lot. All the time we mention hydration, and we shouldn't leave that out here when we're talking about skin health either. But that's also really important for your liver, for liver detoxification. That nice lemon water in the morning can help you move miles. But we also got to remember the gut, you guys, because if there's any kind of issues going on with the gut, like poor digestion, leaky gut, those things actually lead to toxins recirculating throughout the body instead of actually leaving the body. Think about it. A lot of people will come into our practice and they're like, well, I'm not moving my bowels every day. You should be having 2 to 3 beautiful soft serve ice cream bowel movements a day. If you're not, then we've got to work on actually getting the digestive system firing up so that you are having 2 to 3 nice bowel movements per day. But, constipation, think about it. It's just toxic waste that is sitting in the GI system and it gets reabsorbed by the body. And this reabsorption can cause acne. It can cause puffiness, right? It can cause those irritations to our skin. So we want to really be aware of that. Rashes, another one that can come from having issues with the GI system. And, what are some of the things that you can do? Some of the foods. Number one, you've got to make sure that you're getting in enough fiber into your diet. Fiber is so important. So, getting a servings of beans, at least one serving of beans into your diet every day, getting a lot of those green leafy vegetables. One of my favorites for breakfast, you guys, is chia seeds. I love making like a chia seed pudding every morning. I don't put any sweeteners or anything like that on it. It's usually water, chia seeds. Sometimes I'll do like a protein powder or something. Sometimes I'll put some fresh berries on it. Sometimes I'll put some cacao nibs. But that fiber is crucial. And those of you who are looking to lose weight, which I know is like most of the population, you guys, having that fiber is really necessary for helping with the weight loss. But it's helpful because it's moving everything through that GI system. Then, of course, you've got your fermented foods, right? Your probiotics, like your real sauerkrauts or your kimchis or your kefirs, things like that. But you also need prebiotics. And prebiotics help to, feed the probiotics. So your prebiotics, things like onions, garlic are really good. Resistant starches are also really good for the GI system, like a cooked and cooled potato or a cooked and cooled sweet potato. Those resistant starches are helpful as well. So those are all things that can help your GI system get all of that flowing so that you can have beautiful, radiant skin. Okay. But let's remember the third system, which is your lymphatic system. And this is like your drainage highway. Your lymphatic system, first of all, is the only organ or only system in the body that doesn't have its own movement, right? Like your circulatory system has the heart that pumps things through. Your digestive system, it has peristalsis that pumps things through. But your lymphatic system relies on your movement. So this is really important as we live in a day and age where we're sitting like all day long. We're not getting those lymphatics moving. So we've got to move toxins from the cells to the elimination organs so they can make their way out of their body. And if they're stagnant, if they're just hanging in there, then those toxins, they can build up, including underneath the skin. So we end up with puffiness or dullness or cellulite. Anyone? Again, that's part of that stagnation. So we want to keep things moving. And I love, so dry brushing is a wonderful technique. If you're not sure how to dry brush, just look up a YouTube video. You do want to make sure you're dry brushing properly and going in the right directions as you're dry brushing. Rebounding, which is like jumping on a trampoline or a mini trampoline. That's really important. Your hydration is really important for your lymphatic system. Even deep breathing. Really important for the lymphatic system. So these are all easy ways, you guys, to get your skin back under control. But let's talk about what are some things that you can do. So when your liver and your lymph or when they're sluggish, when things aren't kind of going out through systems, your body will actually begin to remove toxins via the skin. And that's how we end up with acne and rashes, even body odor, you guys. So the key is really sweating. And the easiest way to sweat is to get movement and exercise in. Think about that. That sweat from your exercise is not only helping push things and flush them out of your skin, but it's helping everything get moving through your lymphatic system. So that is one way that you want to make sure that you get things moving and grooving. Okay. Infrared saunas are wonderful as well. Okay. So I also recommend that you get those in. So on a scale of 1 to 10, type into the comment section, how well do you think your detox system is working? How well do you think your detox system is actually working? Put it in the comment section because you want to be up there at a 10. Whenever we work with our clients, detox is one of the most important pieces. And detox for everybody works differently. But it is one of those main components of our true wellness framework because we can't get healthy without it. And we certainly can't have beautiful, radiant skin if we're not actually detoxing on a regular basis. So, okay, you guys, I want to talk a little bit more about the gut because this is important. There is a strong connection between the gut and the skin because when your gut is inflamed, your skin is inflamed. Okay, so your gut is your gateway to glowing skin. Do you like that? Your gut is the gateway to glowing skin. When your gut is inflamed, your skin is inflamed. So Your GI system has a lining, right? Your gut has a lining, and it should be nice and closed off, kind of like shingles on your roof. So if it rains, nothing's breaking through your roof there. But imagine that, your roof gets some damage, those shingles get loose, and now all of a sudden you've got spaces between those shingles on your roof. Now the rain's dripping in and it's not supposed to be there. And it's kind of like that with our gut. So here we are, like if that gut lining becomes inflamed, if it becomes damaged, now stuff ends up leaking through your body that isn't supposed to be there. Undigested fluid, toxins, they actually leak into your bloodstream. And this, of course, triggers your body's immune system, right? Your little army says, "Oh my gosh, it's time to get rid of these things. They don't belong here." And so inflammation gets triggered, and now we end up with acne, rosacea, eczema, premature aging, all the things that we don't want. Okay. But this is an issue because a lot of people are looking at, oh my gosh, I have this eczema on my arm, or I've got this rash showing up on my body somewhere. And we're always looking for the topical stuff to go ahead and just put on that rash or on that eczema or on that psoriasis, when in fact, we need to be looking in on the inside. And the GI system is really important. So you guys, if you're having issues with your skin, right, you've got to focus on your gut. You've got to remove the processed foods, the sugar, the gluten, the dairy. These, you guys, the sugar, gluten, dairy, even eggs, I would say that those are some of the most common skin irritants. Okay. And so you want to be aware of them. And then you want to think about what are some of the things that you can use too to heal your gut, right? Like omega-3 essential fatty acids, aloe. I love using glutamine, especially for leaky gut. So you guys, we use, and in my practice, I always recommend Premier Research Labs. That's the company we use because I think they're the best. You can actually use code Dr. D, DRDEE 15 to create your account, because you have to have a practitioner account with them. So Dr. D 15, and then you can also use Dr. D 15 to get 15% off. But if you're having GI issues, you want to look at their aloe powder or their aloe caps. You want to look at the L-glutamine, right? You want to look at their Gastrovan. And of course, you want to look at like the DHA for those omega-3 essential fatty acids. And it goes without saying, you guys, you want to support your digestive system after you're 30, or, once we pass that 30-ish mark, anybody in that area, the 30-ish mark, once we pass that, our digestive fire begins to shut down. So we need to make sure that we're getting enough support to break down all that stuff in our GI. So I always recommend the Premier HCl, which you take along with the HCl activator. And of course, you want digestive enzymes before you eat. So that's the PRL Digest. Paula, hello there. So you're number 5. You want to take a look at the rosacea. So Paula, what are you doing to take care of your health today? And Katie, what do you mean, don't remind me? What are you referring to out there, love? What are you referring to? So you guys, I hope that this is so far helpful. I got a lot more that I want to cover, but that GI system is really key and pivotal. And of course, you've got to pay attention. If you are eating things in your diet that your body is reactive to, you can expect that you are going to have a reaction when it comes to your skin. Okay. So pay attention. Pay attention. One of the things that we do with our clients is, we've got to go through an elimination process. We've got to remove those things like gluten, dairy, sugar, eggs, right? Katie said, just 8 eggs. Paula said, just 8 eggs. Well, that's one of those things you want to take a look at. If your body's reactive to, guess what? It's going to trigger your skin issue, Paula. Why? Because it's your body's natural reaction to get the stuff out of here. So you want to pay attention to that. And the more inflammation we have present in our body, you guys, just overall, everything kind of starts to go astray. The skin is one of the easiest places because the body can just push those things out. And your body's beautiful. It's so smart. It knows exactly what it needs to do. Oh yes, Katie, taking the HCl and the activator after you have meals after 30, because our digestive fire, shuts down. But So you guys eating the fermented foods that we already talked about too, that's a really important part of making sure that you're balancing your gut as well as, like I said before, the fiber, which I love. I mean, I love the Premier Research Labs psyllium caps because sometimes taking psyllium in the powder form is not my favorite. It gets really coagulated, but you can use psyllium fiber to make really good gluten-free bread. So you may want to search for a recipe for gluten-free bread with psyllium, like psyllium powder and flax seeds. Usually some quinoa or some lentils and stuff. You combine those guys, you can make a nice, fluffy, spongy, gluten-free bread with that. Okay, so you guys, let's talk about, because we don't have that much time here. We covered the lymphatic system and why it's so important to make sure that you are moving, right? Your lymphatic system needs you to move. So if you're worried about dark circles and puffiness or dull skin, then think movement. Move your body, okay? So foods for detox and radiant skin. What you put in your body shows up on your skin. And by the way, what you put on your skin makes a difference. I know everyone's looking to lather up and do this and that. Guys, I admit I am probably the worst person when it comes to people's normal skincare routine, especially for women. Most of the time, I don't even wash my face unless it's, of course, in the shower, but I don't like intentionally wash my face before I go to bed. I don't use any sort of magic lotions or potions or serums or whatever. I don't even like to wear makeup 90% of the time, so we don't always need to put stuff on our skin to make us look radiant and beautiful, because it is coming from the inside out. And you really want to remember that because it's important. So let's talk about some of the top foods. So cruciferous vegetables like your broccoli, your kale, your Brussels sprouts, those are really good for their liver support, right? You want to think about your berries for your antioxidants and help to deal with that oxidative stress. And we are coming into spring, you guys. It's a wonderful time for your strawberries, your blueberries, your raspberries. It's coming, your blackberries. So get a lot of those into your diet, okay? Citrus fruits, also really good for that, as well as turmeric and ginger. Because the turmeric and ginger, they're really good for, as an anti-inflammatory, but they're also really great for detoxification. And you guys, Premier Research Labs has a really great fermented turmeric ginger powder that I like to throw in my smoothies and stuff. And actually, we're putting our animals are on the same fermented turmeric and ginger. Okay, not saying that's advice for you, but that's what we're using with our animals, including our horses. We're actually doing a whole horse nutritional supplement line because I can't stand what we're doing with our horses. But one of the things that we're working on testing right now that we have in clinical trials is actually turmeric and ginger for their pain relief. So you guys, that's another one. Beets, really important, really helpful for helping with the nitric oxide, for helping with that detoxification. The other one is cilantro. Love cilantro. Cilantro not only tastes good, but it's really good for heavy metal detoxification. We also talked about the omega-3s. So think about your walnuts, your flax seeds, your chia seeds, wild caught salmon is another one. And then let's not forget, of course, your hydration, because that is really important. Nature's solution to pollution is dilution. And then, of course, your zinc, which you can get in your sunflower seeds, is really important. I love that as well. Okay, let me just go over to here. Paula is interested in horse nutrition. More coming, Paula. If you're connected to my personal channels, that'll be coming out. We're finishing some clinical testing and stuff right now on performance horses, working on a bunch of different things. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting things. And even though they're horses, right? One of the biggest things that we're working on with them is, guess what? Their digestion, because it's just as important for every creature on the earth, because our digestion really is everything. So definitely super fascinating. I want to remind you guys about what you put on your skin because this is really important. Okay. And I just touched on it briefly. Your skin absorbs everything that you put on it. Okay, so if you are using lotions and potions and your soap and your shampoo and your conditioner and everything else that you're putting on your body, make sure it counts, right? Make sure that you're putting on things that are really great. I told you about my reaction on my eyes. Honey was one of the things that I went to as my go-tos. You know what the other one is that I used was avocado because it helped to recreate the hydration for my skin from the inflammation from the contact dermatitis, right? So pay attention to what you're putting on. And the more, if you can eat it, it's probably safer than if you're putting something on that you actually wouldn't eat because it is getting absorbed. And you want to look for your products. You want to look for parabens, phthalates, PHTHALATES, synthetic fragrances, all of these things are things that can disrupt your skin. And toxic skincare is pretty much everywhere. And it disrupts your endocrine system, right? Your hormones. So this is a problem. So look for things that are organic, fragrance-free, plant-based skincare. Use mineral-based sunscreen instead of chemical-based sunscreen. And I always recommend you guys go to EWG, the Environmental Working Group.org, because EWG has what's called their Skin Deep database, and they've rated a lot of products based upon their toxicity. So that's one that you can use as a resource to figure out, okay, what is a good thing to put on my skin? And remember, you guys, each of these little, like all of these little changes, they all add up. Small changes add up to big results. So figure out what you're hearing today. That's a good place for you to get started. Okay, so you can wake up in the morning and have your warm lemon water, dry brush before you take a shower, have a detox smoothie with your greens and your berries and your flax seeds, you know. Maybe at the end of the day, you have your dandelion tea and then you practice your deep breathing. Like all of those things that I mentioned are all things that are really good for your skin health. But think about it. What are you going to take on? You know, your skin is talking. Are you listening? Your body is always telling you what it needs. So go ahead and make sure you put in the comments, give me one thing that you're going to take on to begin to do to enhance your skin health. What is one thing you're going to take on to begin to enhance your skin health? And put that in the comments. And you guys, if this is just the beginning of your journey, I invite you, go ahead and message us checklist, put checklist in the comments, and we will go ahead and send you a copy of our True Wellness Framework checklist. So the True Wellness Framework is what we base everything on at South Bay Wellness. It is the framework that I have created based upon my almost 20 years in practice here. In the checklist, it's got 10 things that you can just begin to do to actually get yourself back on the horse and get yourself moving in the direction of better health. All right, you guys, I see movement in there. Good. Paula, we'll go ahead and get you the checklist. All right, everyone, we will see you next week. We will not be here for Lunch and Learn Live. Texas A&M has their SEC horse championships in North Carolina, so I will be down there supporting my daughter and the Texas A&M equestrian team. So I will see you guys in 2 weeks. So 2 weeks, we'll see you guys then. All right, everyone.